Are in Holyoke, Massachusetts, at the edge of Crosier Field, and we're going to have two stops in Crosier Field since it's so big. This part of it used to be a part of the Elmwood Park, so the Elmwood Park would skirt the edge of this, and it was like a trapezoid shape. And the direction we're pointing now, we're seeing the Peck School that was put in 1970, and the baseball field at the far end of this Crosier Field is actually part of the Peck School. So they own that piece far down there. And then as you come further towards us, you come into Crosier Field. But the outer perimeter is actually part of Elmwood Park. And so we're looking now at one of the baseball fields of the Crosier Field. Now in the gap, you can see the start of the Dingle. The Dingle was a very large place. Right about there were stairwells on both sides, and you can go up and down, and the stairwells are gone. They're not around anymore. They used to define part of Elmwood Park. Also down there in that Dingle, there was one rustic bridge of 5, and so it was a great rustic park. Now as you sweep over to that corner, we can just barely make it out through the tennis courts. That's going to be one of our stops. That was where our grand entrance was on the Elmwood Park, and it would have 2 pillars on both sides, making it feel like you're entering a grand place, because Elmwood Park was considered very grand. At that corner also they planted trees to honor the veterans. Those trees are now long gone, but the trees have been replaced along the outer edge of the street, Northampton Street. In the foreground you can see tennis courts here, and those are the same color scheme as they used at Jones Point Park. They were probably put in about 5 years ago, a rehab, because they've been around a long time. Now, in 1902, the Olmsted brothers came to Holyoke, and they walked this field with Charles Mackenzie, the head of the Parks and Playground. And he told him that you need to buy, and we're going to point in that direction. They already owned Crosier Field, and they told him you need to buy where the Blessed Sacrament Church came in. But in 1902 it was open because Timothy Merrick had just died. He was a thread mill owner in Holyoke, and they told him buy that parcel, and that parcel went up about a quarter mile towards the west. Also beyond that, there was another parcel of land that was a quarter mile long going through the top of Hitchcock Street. And so that would have been a half mile. And the goal, they told them, was to reach Ashley Reservoir, and then you would have a beautiful chain of parks. The parks would have started at Ashley Reservoir, come sweeping in towards the city, would have included a beautiful Elmwood Park. When you got down in the city, there's plenty of small neighborhood parks, and it would have included Springdale Park, and then swept up around the city through the canal area and up into Pulaski Park. Unfortunately, Charles Mackenzie's department didn't have the money, and they didn't buy it. But around here would have been more gorgeous parks, because you would have been able to connect also to a park that was given to Holyoke 100 years ago, 1923. This year, 2023, is the 100th anniversary of Community Field and Anniversary Field. So we're going to point in that direction. That would have been a great walkway, and they pointed them out to Charles Mackenzie, and he couldn't do anything about it. So thank you for coming on this stop.